disconnected from your channel.
Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? I want to welcome you to our show. I'm sorry we had a little bit of a slow start because we had a few technical difficulties on the radio end. So if you are listening to this is What's the Story with Maria. My name is Maria, and we usually go through Armed Radio, armeddigitalmedia.com, Armed Radio Global. So we are going live now on Facebook, and we are going to have, and the podcast will be ready after this, probably in about 4 or 5 hours. So you're still going to catch all of that stuff. We our regulars usually pop on within the first few minutes, so I like to chew up a little bit of that time before I invite my guests on. Tonight is July 28th, Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. The year that was and wasn't. I don't even know what to say about 2020. So we want to welcome you. We, as I said, we had a little bit of a late start, but don't let that worry you because we are going live on Facebook. And if you want to catch our show every Tuesday night, it's on Armed Radio, armeddigitalmedia.com, armedradioglobal.com. And then we go right into podcasts. You can catch us on Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. First in tonight, first in the gate, beating Leo Rodriguez was number 2. Leo, you know who beat you? Mandar Chick Magnet. That's right. My boys, one after the other. I got some disco playing on Armed. Yes, they're having some technical difficulties recording, but don't worry about it because it's going to go, it'll probably pick up in a minute, and then it's going to go straight to the podcast, so don't worry about that. David Slauson, my sweetheart, how are you? Good to see you, honey. I am so curious to talk to you about how business has been down where you are, because I know you're in the real estate business and the world is upside down. But I think everybody's just trying to do their thing. You know, one of the things that I've been so amazed about is how people are adjusting to things. It's just incredible. I don't know. It's incredible. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we were just saying how when we look back at this, we're going to think one of two things. Number one, how did we get through that? That was the craziest time of our lives. And the other thing is we just adjusted to it. It's amazing how things just become every day, you know? And that's one of the things we're going to talk about on our show tonight. But I do want to welcome people that have popped on. So let me see. We have Leo did pop on the Chick Magnet. So good to see you. I know it's been a really, really, really hot day out there today. Like it was close to 100 in New York. So I can't even imagine what the weather was like down south. And if you folks are in Florida, in Texas, in Arizona, in Louisiana, in Kentucky, you must be roasting today. I don't know how everybody is doing it. We need a new song. You mean for me? Yes, I do have 2 of them out there that are floating around, but I am working on a new one, Mandar. Thanks for pushing me a little bit, nudging me a little bit. Chris de Gavone is on. Where is he? Chris, I haven't seen Chris DePiero, but my brother from another mother, you know I love me some Chris DePiero. He was on the show last week. I had so much fun because, you know, anybody that knows the show knows that normally, hi Kenny Holcomb, Kenny's in Tennessee. Kenny, I was just saying it must be so hot down there because it's so hot up here. So it's so good to see you, Kenny. You know I love you to pieces. Yes, Tennessee is roasting. I'm telling you, it's crazy what's happening. So what's going on across the country is that it's just not what you're normally, this year has not been a regular year. It just hasn't. I was looking at my calendar and going back to some, thinking about the last show, I believe, that we had actual people in the studio was Christy Cates and Marty Thomas came on together. And that was the last show that we actually had people. Usually I have 2 people in the audience with me and I cook for them and we have a great time. And then we had to go remotely where people were calling in. So, and then last week, my buddy, Chris DePiero, joined me in the studio because it was my 3-year anniversary of the show, or I should say our 3-year anniversary, all of us, because we've been doing this together. And Chris was in the audience with me, or in the studio with me. We had our masks on. It was the beginning of baseball season. And Chris, I'm dying to talk to you about baseball season because apparently there's a lot of like ifs up in the air. I should say balls in the air, but there's a lot of if it's going to continue to go through all that stuff. And also, shout out to Anthony Fauci, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who threw out the first pitch. He threw out the first pitch at the Nationals game, and from what I hear, he threw a strike, like literally, landed right in the pocket. So that is very exciting. Rumor had it that apparently 45 was supposed to throw it the first pitch in Yankee Stadium in August, but that is a rumor. So that was really never happening. So I don't know. Somebody got their wires crossed. So that is not going to be happening. And baseball is happening, but it's kind of happening and not happening. I don't know. I can't figure out. All I know is that my at-bat app, which goes on my phone, already charged me. They charged me for the full season. Thank you very much. But whatever. I'm not going to complain about it. All right, Mandar says, I knew about Memphis and Elvis. I didn't know about the Waltz in Tennessee. So, I got to tell you, Mandar is one of these people whose brain works like that. And I don't think, okay, so we're talking about mask mandates, right? Mask mandates in Tennessee, I don't think so, right, Kenny? Type that in. I don't believe there is a mask mandate in Tennessee. There should be, but I don't believe there is. Let me see. I have 60 Royal schedule. Anyone needs one. 600 Royal schedules. Yes, of course they're no good. Yes, I know. Because you're in Kansas City, I'm assuming, David, right? Nobody has nothing. Nobody knows anything this year. We're just flying by the seat of our pants. That's it. If there's any time to just say, oh, who's calling in? My friend John Walter. All right, here we go. John, hold on, honey. I'm going to put you on speakerphone.
Okay, how you doing?
Hi, honey. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put you up to, I have two microphones. One goes into the radio station. One goes into Facebook. Everybody, this is my great friend, John Walter. And we have been friends. John, when did you start working at Tony and Tina's? 92?
Wow, we did vaudeville together, right?
Yeah, well, we were the top banana and second banana, right?
No, I think it was like 93, 92. You were there before me, right?
Yeah, I was there in August of 91.
Right, so I think I got there at like 92 or 93.
Yeah. So
and then I did like a 4-year run from there.
Let me just fill everybody in. So I and Krista Piero, Susie Campanero, a ton of us were in this show called Tony and Tina's Wedding, which was an amazing improv, funny show. And I also worked with this brilliant, beautiful actress named Jodie Walter. I mean, well, her name wasn't Walter then, was it?
No, not yet.
Not yet. So
Not yet.
Jodie, and we worked side by side, and she was my buddy. And then this really cute guy, John Walter, came into the show, and he was super funny, and he worked with us, and we just had a great time. And then, like, one day, John just kind of confessed to me that he had a crush on Jodie. And
I knew I had to go to you.
Yes, and boy, am I glad that you did, because I thought that is a great match. And you guys started dating pretty quickly after you joined the show, right?
Yeah, it was actually we kind of got together. You remember Lee Mazzilli came to the show?
Yes, everybody. The Lee Mazzilli from the Mets and the Yankees. Right. Yes.
And that's when on the outside, we just kind of like connected more than we actually did in the show, like on a personal level. And it was kind of like, things like that. Sometimes you get outside the show, it opens up the gate a little more,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Lee Mazzilli, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I know. I should let him know.
Who was a great guy, by the way. He was a very sweet man. And he was retired from baseball temporarily, because then after that he joined the Yankees. But he was with the Mets for years. And then he wanted to try his luck at acting, and he joined the cast. And he played Tony, and he was a really sweet guy. He used to take us all out afterwards. He was just a really nice man. And but the show became this crazy kind of place because people were just packing it. They were packing it. Remember, John, how crazy it was? Audience members, yeah.
It was organized chaos.
Right, exactly. So you and I have known each other a long time. You're a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful actor. And
thank you.
I love your acting, but I also want to remind you that you wrote a screenplay many years ago that I still to this day cannot get out of my head. It was one of
Yeah,
the
you read it. I think you and not many people in the cast read it. I think I gave one to you and Tony Patelis, right?
yeah,
Um,
maybe. And Jody.
wow,
And
wow,
Jody.
you're not
Yeah.
even, and yeah, of course.
And it
Yeah,
was so
I haven't
brilliant.
read that in a while.
I'm telling you,
Oh,
hold
how
on to
much is
that. You know,
happening?
it's never too late to resurrect these things.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a timeless story.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it can
I'm
still work today.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, for actors, forget about it. And I just remember like thinking that this is what I'm leading into something. You're the way that you think comically is very unique in that you think in literals and figuratives. And
Mm,
I have
yeah,
always appreciated that. Just like I love puns, like you love puns.
yeah,
So we
wordplay.
used to do that all through the show. We just do these puns, and Jody would jump in there. And I always really appreciated that about your sense of humor. You know, you were a literal figurative
Oh,
guy.
thanks. Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
now,
I also like the malapropism.
the
You know,
malapropism, right? It's so funny because
the,
I call my girlfriend Miss Malaprop because she always
yeah.
does it. She'll mix things together. But that is going to lead me to your art. Now, let's hold on to your art for a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about your acting first. Now, as we're doing this, I want to bring up John's picture. This is my friend, John Walter. I'm going to hold this picture up. Some of you may know John. He's an amazing actor, and he is very intense. He has a very intense look, but he's the sweetest thing on the planet, and he's super funny. But these pictures, this is just a really intense one, I think, John. And then I have, let me see, I have another one of you, and I think you're shooting a movie in this one because you have a gun in your hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
What
know
was
that
this? What
movie
was
was
happening
called
here?
that movie was pretty prescient. I mean, actually, would be more prescient. It was really about.
Hold on, honey. I'm losing you a little bit. Say that again. The movie was what?
Yeah, well, the movie was called Gas Mask,
Okay.
and it was about like this apocalyptic movie, like a pandemic, like this virus that was
Wow.
going around. Yeah, so it was pretty.
How long
Who
ago was
knew, right?
that?
Oh, we shot that. I mean, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that's before anybody would have ever thought about a pandemic.
yeah,
And
it's crazy.
it
Yeah,
is
and we were
crazy.
like, I played this guy where we're holed up in this cabin upstate. We're just hiding from society. This guy comes on the property wearing a gas mask because we're far away from the virus where we don't have to wear gas masks. We're just kind of survive.
This is so
And I just remember
crazy.
thinking, when we were shooting that movie, just the reality of that. Like, could this ever really happen? And, I mean, it's not as bad as thank God it's not as bad as it wasn't the movie, but it's still
It's
bad enough.
intense. Talk about a foreshadowing, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Who
So,
knew?
but you tend to do more film than stage. Is that correct?
I would say, yeah, that yeah, film is something that's always appealed to me more, cinema than theater. I started in theater, and, I did, when I came back to New York, I did like maybe a play a year, but I've always been drawn to film,
Yeah.
that medium. It's a whole different kind of thing, but
Yeah, I love it too. I love it a lot. And you have a really great face and physique for film as well. Like it captures your nuances, and your intensity, and you have beautiful eyes. So it really picks them up. But you're
yeah,
also,
I had a ability in that to really that intensity, I think.
yeah. I mean, just beautiful. So now I was looking at your website. So you worked on a few films in the last couple of years, right? A lot of indie films.
Yeah, a lot of indie, like short films. And I started kind of, focusing more on my art at.
Hold on, honey. I lost you a little bit. Are you still there? Oh, okay. Let's call John back. Hold on a second. Sometimes this happens. It's just one of those days, right? Okay. I'm going to call John back because I really want to talk about his art so much. It's so incredible. Hold on a second.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, babe.
I don't know if that was you or me.
I don't
I'm
know,
not
honey.
sure.
The call dropped. But okay, so tell us about the art because what I'm gonna do, you talk about it a little bit, and then I'm gonna show. I was able to just print out like very small, but I can hold them up to the camera. Um, Print out some of them that I particularly are my favorite. But talk about your art, and this will go into what you were talking about. I was talking about with your sense of humor and the way you look at the world and puns. So go ahead, honey.
Well, yeah, I've been painting, I came to painting late in life. It was kind of like an epiphany. I woke up one morning because I had never had any inclinations towards like arts when I was growing up. So it was kind of like a surprise to me and everyone else.
Wow.
So I woke up one day about 12 years ago. I don't know if I had a dream. I just had this feeling, and I actually turned to Jody and I said, I want to start painting. And she looked at me and she said, "Do you want to start in the kitchen or the bathroom?" Because she thought I meant painting.
Oh my God. Okay,
She
so
said, "No,
everybody,
like
let
on
me just fill
canvas."
you in. Jody, that beautiful girl that was in our show, John and Jody got together. They got married. They've been how many years you've been married now?
We've been married like 22 years.
22 years. Wow. And they're beautiful and they have a beautiful son and I love them both so much. And so Jody thought you meant like painting literally like the kitchen.
Right, because it was completely out of left field because I'd never attempted to do anything like that. And I said, "No, like painting on canvas, painting." She said, "Oh, yeah, okay, go for it."
Okay.
So I just started, I went to the art supply store and kind of filled the basket with acrylic paint and brushes, and I just started painting, went crazy, like painting like large scale, like color, kind of expressionism type of
Okay.
stuff. And I felt like right away that there was something going on, and everyone else felt that. But for a long time, I was painting like that. I felt like I was forcing it.
All right.
It just wasn't connecting. Visually, I think it looked good, but I don't think it was connecting.
Okay.
And one day,
And what do you mean by that? Explain that to our listeners. What do you
yeah.
mean by it wasn't connecting?
Well, I think like in any kind of art, like let's take writing. I once heard a saying about writing, and it said, "No tears for the writer, no tears for the reader." Like if you're not feeling it, they're not going to feel it.
Right.
Even though something can be visually look good, and people may like it, but I wanted to feel it in a different way. It was a little more. It was like more intellectual, I think,
Right.
than I was, because I was just kind of feeling out painting and like developing my technique, and so I did that for about 2 or 3 years, and then one day I went to the art supply store and I just got very overwhelmed by color and the choices, and I felt like it was like oppressive to me, like all these color choices, because I was painting with a lot of color.
Right.
And I just had this idea of like, this just do black and white, just keep it simple. So I started painting a much smaller scale, and I start integrating like words and my humor into the pieces, into the images. So
Yeah.
I work with like words and images together because, words are images, images are words. I like the combination of the two.
Yeah.
And it just really fit. I knew there was a connection. I just felt like, this is who this is how I need to work. And I've been doing that for the last, 6 years, just painting like that.
Well, I got to
And,
tell you, John, when I didn't know about your artwork and your lovely, beautiful wife, who I adore, actually kind of sent me something. She was like, "Hey, I don't know what it was, like some link." And
Yeah.
as soon as I looked at it, I was like, "That is so John." Like it completely represented you in the best way. Like it was so funny, and yet it was simple, but it was so smart.
Right.
It was so smart. Like it was thinking outside the box. The black and white was like the simple part of it, right?
Right, yes.
And yet, like you said, because you put words and then some of it is very sweet. And I'll show you. Like I'm gonna pop some of. I ran out of printing
Are you on
ink.
my website right now? Or are you showing my website?
Well, they already popped it on. So Leo popped it
Okay.
on. So if
Okay.
people will go and take a look at that after the show, and but these are some of my. Well, first of all, this is the one that I bought. I'll show you. And what it says is, I know it's hard to. This is a black and white. It says, "I miss you even when I'm with you." And this one to me was the sweetest
spoke to
thing
you.
on the planet. because it's so beautiful and simple and sweet. And I actually, John, I got to tell you, it very much inspired me. I have it above my piano. And when I first bought
Oh,
it,
that makes my day. Thank
no,
you.
when I first bought it, Jody said to me, "Take a picture of it." Okay, so my friend Leo has posted your website. When I first bought
Oh,
it,
great.
Jody said, "Make sure you take a picture of it," and I did. I put it above the piano, but when I put your artwork, my piano looked awful all of a sudden because my piano was this old, beat up piano. And do you know that it inspired me to redo my
Oh,
piano? I sanded it down and I whitewashed it and put all this beautiful varnish, and so that it kind of matches the painting. So then I took another picture and sent it to Jody, so she'll show it to you. But your picture inspired me to redo my piano.
oh, that's great. That's what art should do, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that's great, dude.
I bought the same one for my girlfriend and gave it to her. And she loved it so much. And she put it next to a picture of her dad, who she lost when she was a kid. So for her, the painting meant something very different than, like it was this beautiful,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, and it's interesting how you say that because I think as literal as these pieces are, you can read them in so many different ways, and people read that piece in different ways.
yes,
Um,
absolutely.
um,
But I want to show a few more. So this is where
Definitely.
your cleverness comes in. So there's this one that, I mean, some of them are so silly and funny. So then there's this one that's like ice cream, right? So it's like this block of ice that's screaming. It's just like hysterical. So
Yeah, it's
like
kind of spooky.
it's spooky and funny.
I
Like
think
this.
we all feel that way. Right now, it's screen. Like, I don't know if it's screen.
Yeah, I mean everybody has their different. And then this one I love. It's a girl driving, and it's like a sign. I love both of these. One says, "Right," at like points to the right at wit's end, which to me is hysterical.
Yeah, I'm excited about those pieces. I want to do more like that because I like signs. I'm very inspired by signs, on the road or on an urban, street.
Yes,
Because the thing I like about signs is that they try hard just to give us the information without being artistic, and I find in that, art.
absolutely.
Especially when you read a road sign at night when you're alone in the car and you have that vulnerability.
Yeah.
You see a sign glowing at night and it tells you what to do and the arrows and should you take the exit, so
Oh, I
I
love
like that. It's
that.
almost kind of got like a Hitchcockian feel or David Lynch feel to it.
Yes. So this
Yeah.
the other one that you have of this series is I'm gonna actually order it soon. It says left to my own devices.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's got pointing left, and that is like a saying that I've heard before, having to do with addiction, that I love. If I'm left to my own
Interesting.
devices,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think the interesting thing about that saying is, it's an older saying, but I think it's more profound today because we are literally left to our own devices in a literal sense.
yes,
So it's interesting
absolutely.
how that word evolved.
Yeah,
Um,
and I
you know,
just find it like, and it's also, there's something very, like, you're right, Hitchcockian about that. The woman driving, it's very dark out, and there's that sign. I just am crazy about this series. And then there's this really funny, and my friend Dominic Pupa, who comes on and watches the show every week, he's a comedian.
yeah,
He's also a huge Cher fan, and he's
yeah.
gonna love this one. So this one says it cut off because when I printed it, it cut off, but it says tomorrow's weather, sunny and Cher. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. And it's hysterical. Now what size are these, John? Would you say the one that I ordered? What size
Well,
are?
yeah, the size, I usually go with one size. They're 11 by 14,
Okay.
11 inches by 14 inches, because I used to go smaller, and I used to go a little bigger, and I kind of found the Goldilocks size. It's a perfect little size. It's
Yeah.
not too little, and it's not too big.
Yeah. I just am
So I think
crazy
they really
about
work. Yeah.
I'm crazy about your stuff. And I just, it's because, like you said, it has so many different layers and it's going to speak to different people in different ways. So I urge everybody to check out John's website. We printed it up here. I mean, we posted it here. John Walter, so JOHNWALTER dot NYC. That is his website. You can see all kinds of things that he does, but then you just click on black and white art, I believe.
Right, yeah, and there's some different categories. I have some my acting videos on there, and some of the other stuff, and some things that I've written. I'm going to actually post more of my writing, things that I've written.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a little more, put more stuff up, in the near future.
I just am crazy about it. So what, and you know what I love about it also is that to me you're one of those people that kind of like you're not just good at one thing. You have a lot of different outlets. You're like a true artist to me.
Oh, thank you.
No,
That's so nice.
no. I'm being honest. I mean, it may feel nice, but it's the truth. You're a wonderful actor, but it's the way your mind works. You're highly intelligent, and yet you're not condescending. You're just one of these great guys. And again, I urge you to look at your screenplay again that you wrote, that I'm just a huge fan of. I feel like one of these days that screenplay is going to get made.
Yeah, it's I think that story in some ways would work more now than it did when we wrote it.
Yeah.
You remember the title? How Much Is Happy?
How Much Is Happy? I mean, the title is
happy?
brilliant in itself. I mean, you could even make a painting of that, John. You should think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like my work, all my paintings really always start with the words, the phrases. It
Yeah.
could be something I hear on the street, a quick phrase, a sign, whatever. And it just opens up possibilities because, I think words inspire me more than images.
Yeah, well, you are because you're a writer. That's the thing. You're a writer and you're an actor. So words are they're your
Thing,
tools. Yeah. And
Language,
so, yeah, then you have this other part of your brain. That's why I think you're so brilliant. You have this other part of your brain that goes off and does something else, but you're still carrying the soul of who you are. So it's just really amazing.
Strange, people throw you these things because, like I said, if you had told me, 20 years ago or even 15 years ago that I'd be like painting, I would have thought it was like you're crazy.
Yeah, but
So
that's
you
not
just
the
never
way
know,
art works. That's not the way creative people work. You don't tell us we're going to do something. You just
Right,
we
exactly.
channel, because I truly feel that we channel what we do, as artists.
Yeah, there's always something else at play, isn't there? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
When whenever you create something, I'm sure because I know you sing and you act it, but there's always that part of something that you don't even know who did that. I think there was that director Wim Wenders,
Yeah.
and he had said that whenever I watch one of my movies, I'll always say like, who did that? I'll see certain aspects of it.
Wow.
And it's not even like it was like a subconscious thing. And I think even when I make this, we make these pieces, people see things in it that I wasn't even aware of, even about myself. So I think that's the kind of the collective consciousness about art. We're all kind of connected to it, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
We all have a piece of it,
Wow. I just love it, honey. I just love it. So listen, we are posted your stuff. I want to tell everybody to go and please look at John's stuff. It's incredibly affordable. It's just like, I love it. I'm going to get some more pieces, but I just want to thank you for calling in, John.
Oh.
And when all this crazy stuff subsides, I'll have you and Jody come on and actually be in the studio live
I would
together.
love that.
Because
I would
that's
love
the
that.
way I like to do it, and I cook for everybody, and it's just really great. But
And congratulations to you too. You're just moving on, and I love this thing you're doing. It's the story with Maria. I think it's a great idea because you have a great personality for it, and
thanks,
you have
honey.
a lot to say. And I really appreciate it. It
Yeah.
means a lot to me, and I'm really honored to be on your show.
Well, I love you,
really
honey.
am.
You'll be a friend for life, as you have been so far. So give Jody a big hug. And
I will do.
And now this is going to go into podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You just type in "What's the Story with Maria," and in about 6 hours, the show will be on. You'll be able to listen
great.
to it.
Jody
Okay?
and I will play it later. And hey, thanks again.
You're welcome.
And I will see you soon, somehow, some way.
Okay, honey. Keep doing what
All right.
you're doing. You're so talented. I love you.
All right, I love you too. Bye bye.
Bye, honey.
And thanks again. Bye.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Wow. Oh, I love John so much. You know what? Ed's going to call in any second. When you work with people and you just know that they're special, and I don't mean that you're just because they're talented. They're just special human beings. They're very kind, and they don't rattle cages. They do in funny ways, but not like he was just always one of those really solid, kind and thoughtful human beings. And when he had this crush on this other friend of mine, and I thought, yes, you know, when you meet two great people and you're like, together they're going to be unstoppable, and that's the way it was. So hopefully, when all of this is over, we will have them in the studio. Jody's a great actress as well. She's really talented. Okay, here's my friend Ed Sylvia. Ed, hold on, honey. I'm going to put you on speakerphone. Can you hear me, my love?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, wonderful. First of all, thank you for calling in, sweetheart. And I'm so excited because I had my friend John Walter call in, and tonight I went with a visual art thing. I usually have some kind of a theme, and tonight I wanted to go with. Although John's an actor and he's a painter, and you, to me, when I first met you, I met you as a singer, right?
Right.
And you're a great singer. You're a great singer.
Huh.
And you're
Thank you.
like this happy guy, and your happiness comes through in your voice. And I love that above you.
That's a lovely compliment. Thank you. I learned so much from you guys at the Beat Place. I swear to God, it was like a master class in how to perform.
Coming in, well, with Michael Isaacs, right?
Well, yeah, Michael Isaacs was, I was coming to the duplex before I met him. I met him at the duplex
Right.
when he was playing. And then I worked with him at Pegasus Uptown for a couple of years.
Yes. And Brandy's, did you ever go into Brandy's?
All the time. I lived in that neighborhood when I first lived in New York. So, yeah. All of those places. And Rose's Turn. I did some cabaret there at one point in the 90s. I was making the circuit of all the piano bars for a long time.
Yeah, but you also did a one-man show at the duplex upstairs that I remember distinctly, and I loved it. It was so good.
I didn't do a one-man show. No, I did costumes for a
Well,
TV
no, wait.
show up there.
Didn't you sing in Spanish?
I might have sung in somebody else's
Okay,
show.
so
or
maybe
something.
that's what it was. You sung in someone else's show, but I remember thinking, because I knew you was a singer that came into the piano bar, and just this lovely, like you had always would burst in and had this great energy. You would sing, everybody loved you, and then I heard you. Maybe it wasn't. It might have been a variety show, and you were just great. You were great. So I wanted to talk about the singing. That's how I always knew you. And then, just recently, I started realizing that you're also a designer. Is that right?
That is right, yep.
Okay, so bring up your voice a tiny bit, honey, only because it's on this phone. I have to get into the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that better?
that's much better, much better. So tell everybody, were you a designer? Tell us about the designing part of your life.
Well, I started out my life really studying music and theater.
Okay.
And so I always sang, and I played a lot of instrumental. I did a lot of choirs. I did all of that crap growing up. I did a lot of musical theater, and a lot of classical singing as well.
Okay. All right.
When I was younger, I really wanted, like Richard Kiley and Ned of La Mancha was my hero. Like, he was who I wanted to be when I grew up as a singer.
Wow.
The pathos, the expression, the control, the humanity, the sound, everything. He was perfect for me. And that's still a part that I want to play.
Well,
someday.
you could be. You got the beard for it now, honey. You're all set. I love your beard, by the way. I love it.
Thank you. And you know what? In so many shows I've been in, I've had to wear a handlebar mustache, and now I have one for real. It's sort of like, it was like foreshadowing.
Okay, look, hold on a second. I have a picture of you. I'm going to hold it up. This is my friend Ed Sylvia. And look how handsome he is with that beard. Oh, my God, I love it on you, Ed.
No, thank you so much.
It's gorgeous.
Well, I kind of like it. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
it suits you.
I'm digging. Yeah, I sort of feel like, well, there's always some part of me that's a little bit on the Victorian side, or should we say Edwardian side? Maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
So it fits, I was on a Zoom meeting recently with grad school friends, and I was wearing a striped tank top with the mustache and the beard, and my girlfriend Kim was like, "Ed, you look like you're in a Victorian bathing suit ad."
Oh my God, absolutely. So how did the whole? Now I know you were also a creative director. Wait, you've done costumes, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like by the time I was in high school, I was designing. I grew up with a grandmother who was a seamstress, and an aunt who was a seamstress.
Wow.
And so in Portuguese, like their hands were always busy making something.
Yep.
Right?
Same thing with my family.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I grew up in an hour south of you. So it was. As soon as I was able to start sewing and thinking in those terms, I was sewing. And my aunt was sort of my mentor, and she helped me through my first couple of projects, and then I was off on my own doing stuff and doing costumes for shows at school,
Wow.
and prom gowns and pageant gowns and wedding gowns. I did a wedding gown for my brother's first wedding, which was when I was a senior in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I was crazy. And by the time I went, I would go to the theater conference every year and study how they did their portfolios. So I had one when I went to apply to college.
Okay.
And I applied, I went to Brandeis University, which had a great theater arts program, but an excellent graduate theater arts program. And I ended up staying there through undergrad and graduate school and getting 2 degrees, one a bachelor's in theater and then a master's in technical design for theater. And so that's what I came to New York to do.
Wow. Well, okay. So, and you also, didn't you design the windows at Bloomingdale's?
I was never the window designer. I did design some of the windows, but I was the supervisor of window display. I was the second in command under the director.
Okay. Well, that's a big deal too, Ed, and I want to just tell people about that. Now, I want you, so now because of who would have thought you'd be designing masks?
Right?
But now tell us, I'm going to hold up this is why I'm attracted to Ed's masks. They're not your average. I could only print a few, but these are some of the designs that he does. I'm just going to hold these up. That's just like one of them. I mean, there's so many of them. There's literally like 100 of them at least. And so then look at this. Look at these different patterns that you can choose from. They're just, I could only print out a few. So I'm just going to hold these up, Ed, and then there's so many to choose from. So now, this is the inside of the mask, which I love. So this says, it's got your actual label in it, and this is not your average mask. This is like, it's got the 3 layers, right?
Yeah.
Now,
3 layers.
But these are not just, these are designer masks, right? So now tell me what inspired you to do designer masks.
I started, right at the beginning of the pandemic, right after lockdown. I had my sort of 2 weeks of numbness watching Netflix and bemoaning the state of the world. And then I realized, okay, I'm going to need to make myself some masks. So my girlfriend, who does what I do, and I were talking on the phone, and we shared patterns and things that we found online. And I have a long face. I have a big head and a long face and a beard, right? So the normal mask patterns weren't fitting me well. I found one pattern that fit the best, and I altered it to fit more comfortable and look better on me. And that became the basis of my pleated pattern.
Okay.
Which is the one that I promote the most because it fits the most people. It has the most movement, and it's the way I sort of look at the pleats like siding on a house, like clapboard siding, like horizontal siding, like layered over each other.
Yeah.
So these pleats layer over each other, and they offer a little bit more protection because of the pleats, but also because the pleats run all the way across the mask, they kind of hold it out from your nose and your mouth. And there's a little dart. It nips in at the nose, right over the nose, and right under the chin. So it hugs under your chin. It hugs over your nose. There's a wire in it.
But they're all. So that's the practical part. But they're gorgeous. So this is the kind of thing you would wear. Like you could actually wear to work. You could wear. So my friend Leo has posted your website. So edwardsylvia.com. That is ED.
Edward Sylvia NY.
NY. Okay, sorry, honey. Thank you. EDWARD SYLVIANY.com. Please go and check it out. It's going to blow your mind how beautiful these designs are. And people can just pick a design and then order the mask and the size, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 different styles of masks. One's that's pleated, one that's not.
Okay.
4 different sizes in each style, and over 100 fabrics to choose from.
Yep.
And you can also choose an option to have customization. My business is based on a bespoke kind of model, so it's custom made to order.
Okay.
And if you choose a customization in your mask, when you're ordering your mask, if you choose to add a customization, it sends me a direct message.
Okay.
And I will contact you, and we will discuss what you want.
Is that amazing
So
or what? Now, look, we're going to be, hopefully things will get behind us soon if we all do the right thing. But the right thing is wearing a mask. So, which means as we get back to our lives, which a lot of us are getting back to our lives, we still have to wear these masks. So you might as well look great doing it. That's what I think. And you might as well feel attractive doing it. I know it sounds silly, but when I was looking on your website, I'm like, I wouldn't mind wearing that at all. And now you, like me, you're from Massachusetts, right?
Yep, I'm from Middleborough.
Middleborough.
Right down near Plymouth.
So there are I heard a rumor that there are a few Red Sox masks out there.
I have some. At some point, I started buying up like small embroidered emblems and stuff on Etsy.
Yep.
Just to offer some whimsy and some different options.
We have a lot of Boston listeners, a lot
Yes.
of Boston listeners.
Yep.
So
I got some Boston Red Sox emblems, and I've made a couple.
Yep.
I won't tell the Boston Red Sox folks. I've also got Yankees emblems. Because, I live in New York. So,
Right. Well, no, I think, listen, it's a big world. There's room for all of us. But because we do have a lot of listeners from Boston, that there's some really cool Red Sox designs out there.
Yeah, there are. And, I try to, the masks they're perfunctory and they're a little bit foreign looking on your face, right? So I sort of went in the direction of things that were beautiful and colorful and graphic and whimsical. Like, I wanted things that were fun. I have some very demure and very plain choices as well.
Yep, you do. These, I just picked out some fun ones, but there's some really pretty ones. And
I just wanted something that would suit everybody's taste.
Yep.
And I'm also, my whole, the business that I've been building aside from the mask before the pandemic was all based on customers made to order stuff.
Right.
So I really like the part of it where I get to be involved with the people and try and figure out what it is that they're seeing in their head and how I can make it happen.
Wonderful. All right. Well, sweetheart, I'm so happy that you were able to call in, and I will at some point would love to have you actually come to the studio and where you can show everybody everything and they can see your beautiful face. We just are still trying to socially distance. So thank you for your patience with that. So everybody, please go and check out EdwardSylviaNY.com. We have posted it to our page, and we're going to share, I'm going to share this on a bunch of different pages. So Ed, thank you for calling in. I love you to pieces, and I appreciate you and how you see the world in such a beautiful way.
Thank you, Maria. It was such a pleasure to be here. I'm really, this is really big for me. I love you.
I love you too, honey. And I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
Oh, nice man. Very talented, bright light, makes beautiful things. So please go and check Ed out. Now, and we're going to be wearing masks for a while, okay? Whether we're healthy or not. Let's stay healthy, and we can stay healthy and look beautiful, look handsome, look upscale. And especially people that, like some of the stuff that he makes, I can see like people wearing them with suits and looking really great. Okay, now we have reached the part of our show called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. That's the food section of our show. So, and our regulars love this part, and I will not disappoint you. Okay, what have I made here? I'm still trying to be healthy because I'm still trying to fit into my clothes, but I'm doing better. Just so you guys know, I lost 10 pounds. All right, so this is flounder, and it's snuggled in shallots, red peppers, and Brussels sprouts. What did I marinate the flounder in? I marinated in white wine, lemon, garlic, butter, thyme, and dill. So those were the spices I used. I had a little yesterday because I made a ton of it. It's so good. I can't wait to eat this. And so that is our summer because, we're trying to eat light, right? And my summer salad. I love a good salad, as you folks know. My summer salad is, I had Boston lettuce because of Ed. Ed, because of you, I chose the Boston lettuce. And so Boston lettuce, which I love, it's also called butter lettuce sometimes, and Persian cucumbers, Bermuda onion. This is pomodoro tricolore. They're beautiful. That means tricolored tomatoes. And they're so, in the summertime, tomatoes are just exquisite. And I put oregano on that. In the summer, my mother always would put oregano on salads. And I just remember, like, it's just a sense memory for me for summer. So oregano, and I am going to put aceto di Modena, which is a beautiful balsamic vinegar. It's a little bit sweet. And I'm going to put a Milanese granola oil for that salad. I can't wait. Now, what are we having for dessert? I'm still being good with the desserts. I know, Mandar, you want me to eat cake soon, and I will. But these are delicious summer nectarines. Could you die? I love nectarines. So I'm going to be having nectarines tonight, okay? I'm still staying healthy. Pretty soon I'll go crazy. So that is what is on the What's the Story with Maria section of our show. Let me check on our beautiful listeners and with some of these people. So Mandar, you crack me up, has been saying he will hit the share button on the sunny side. You see, Mandar says the funniest stuff. All right, Leo, artists are vessels. Yes, they are, my love. Now, I thought I saw Lynn Porter's Genius has checked in. Yes, we love Jody and John. And wasn't that a wonderful time in Tony and Tina history? It really was. Lynn, that's when you came onto the show around the Jody and John era, right? Lee Mazzilli, all that stuff. I thought I saw, let me see, Rena. Did I see Rena Crugnali Berge? I thought I saw my cousin from Massachusetts. Andrew Holmes. Yes, my sweet friend Andrew Holmes. How are you, honey? You know Ed Sylvia. Who doesn't know Ed Sylvia and who doesn't love Ed Sylvia? Order a mask. I'm telling you, just go to his website. You're going to be enchanted with his designs. They're just beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. Rena, a mask that reads what? You know what, Rena, I'm telling you, I've been thinking about some special What's the Story with Maria masks. I've been thinking about it. It's something if this thing keeps going, because I know a lot of places are doing that. Well, let's talk about our merchandise. What do we have for merchandise, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, Rena, for the segue. Okay, so, of course, we have the classic What's the Story with Maria mug, right? And on the back it says, go ahead, keep eating. This is $10 for the mug. Now, if you order the mug, it's $10. The only thing with the mug is it's a little heavy, so there's a little more in the shipping. It cost me, believe it or not, about $5 to ship. Maybe, yeah, around 5. So that's the only thing with the cup. But these things are super light. So that's $10, but well worth it. And then also $10. Look at this little bag, our tote bag, which is washable. And these days we're trying not to use plastic. What's the Story with Maria? On the back, go ahead, keep eating. That's $10. Super light to ship. And then the piece de resistance. Go ahead, keep eating. Our blue apron. Blue is the color of 2020. And we're going with blue. Blue is my color. Go ahead, keep eating right there. That's $25. Well worth it because it's extra. It's really nice. It's very good material. That's going to last you a long time. Super cheap to ship. So that's our stuff, right? All right, so let's keep checking on our beautiful people. I'm so happy you folks come back every week. Oh, there's my honey. Hi, honey. Eugenia Mesa has joined us. She is across the Hudson as we speak. Thank you, Leo. Leo just posted my website. Thank you. Now, on my website, which is MariaGentile.com, you can also get all my stuff. You can get my CDs. You can download the songs or actually order physical CDs. And you can get all the What's the Story with Maria stuff. Also, I sell Rodan and Feel skincare. I'm still doing that, and it's wonderful, and I love it. And you can order that. That will connect you right to it. So anything you need from me, you can go right to my website, MariaGentile.com. So let me see. We've got a couple minutes left to our show. I'm just scrolling to see who else has checked in. Our regulars have checked in. Let's remind everybody of John Walter's beautiful stuff. This is my favorite one of his. Now it's hard because you got the lights there reflecting, but I just love this painting. I miss you even when I'm with you. Look at how beautiful that is. So that's one of John Walter's serious and sweet ones, but some of these are so funny. I can't wait for Dominic Pupa to see this, because the Sonny and Cher one that says today's weather, Sonny and Cher, it's hysterical. And they're all 11 by 13, I think he said. But there's so many. There were so many. Like, there's one that I love that has a girl looking up at the moon, and it says, the moon with a side of fries. It's just like so cool. And I'm a big fan of like galaxy stuff and moon. And so I'm going to go back to John's site and look, and I'm going to order something else because I'm just in love with his stuff. And also because I know John and I know how smart he is and just like such an amazing guy. I want that energy in my apartment. I'm a big believer in energy in art. Like when you make something, or whatever it is, a physical piece, your energy is in that piece. So John's energy is so good that having a piece of his creativity in my apartment made me creative. I started doing more things. Lynn and I have been writing some stuff. Lynn's been writing so much stuff of her own. I've been writing some stuff of my own. A lot of us have been really creative. Chris DiPiero, oh my God, is doing amazing things. Just have stepped it up such a level. For Gavon's Produce. So there's a lot of our friends look, we're in a pandemic, we know that. We're in the strangest, spookiest time of my life that I remember. But it's a time for us as artists and just creative people. Whether you are someone that loves to cook, maybe you're a baker, you're someone that, works every day, but, when you come home, you like to cook or plant a garden, like my cousin Ron Berge. Rena's husband is an amazing gardener, and like he just creates these beautiful landscapes. Like people like that, I love so much. You use your creativity in life, don't stifle it. And now that we're in this crazy time, is a good time to say, rather than be stressed out and stay in that place of paranoia or fear of the future, let's just swim in the creative. Let's let go and swim in that creative space, because the stress is going to be there. It's going to be there no matter what, and we're going to have to adjust to whatever we're doing. So let's let our higher power take care of the stress and swim in the creative and be in that creative space, and help each other out. I want to thank my buddy Leo Rodriguez for helping me week after week. By the way, Leo makes those amazing videos that you see, those little promo videos. If anybody is looking to hire Leo to do your website, to do your promos, to create stuff, Leo is your guy. He does really amazing work. He put together a video for me and Lynn with Art, the song that we wrote, Hiding in a Ghost Town, which is about the pandemic in New York. So we wrote a song called Hiding in a Ghost Town. And I took a ton of pictures and I sent them to Leo, and he arranged them in such a beautiful way and made a video. So Leo's great at all that stuff.
1 minute.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Okay, I want to thank Jim Bell. He's our producer and engineer. He's amazing. I want to thank Joe Rocks. He is the guy that told me I should do a show on Arms Radio, and I will forever be grateful to him. So thank you, Arms Radio. Thank you, Jim Bell. Thank you, Joe Rocks. Thank you, Leo Rodriguez, John Walter, Edward Sylvia. I love you guys. Stay creative, and just know that we're all in this together, like it or not. See you next week.